So we've actually worked together with Lisa and Dylan for all the posing demonstrations that we've done, and I deliberately did not use the veil or a full address so we can see her body type and her shape and understand posing from a different level. Let's do it. So first of all, I'm going to look at Lisa. So again, she's basically facing me perfectly. I personally, I prefer, as I've said from the beginning, I actually prefer that if your weight was distributed either one way or the other. So if you can just push your hip that way. Do you see how even though she's actually facing me, straight away there's a little bit more finesse with what's going on? So that really works. As far as the veil is concerned, then either you get it perfect or you create an organized mess. So with this particular one, often what I'll do is I'll get the bride to hold her veil, and then I'll get the bottom part of the dress, and I'll stretch it out like this and just sort of let it go a little bit. Now, sometimes it can work with one swoop. I think it's probably a little bit too big to do that, but maybe, who knows. If I bring my hands out wide enough, let's see what happens. Bring it up and then just drop it. Then I bring this around. Love that, frames her beautifully. I get that, frames her beautifully. And now I get this. And usually I'll do it either in one go, or sometimes I just grab one side and I just lay it all out. Now, because that tulle is blending into the veil, you can hardly see it, but you can see it on her arms. Now, this is a very important point, guys, that a lot of the time that a bride, even though that she's got a great figure and her arms are slim, one of your best friends will be the veil. So this is where you will bring the veil over, and she can even hold it very gently like this. Good. Let's have a look from this perspective. Love that. You sort of see how her arms aren't perfectly on a right angle. They're slightly a little bent. I quite like that if we can just hold that little thing like that. Perfect. Chin up a little bit there for me. That's stunning. And that works. But of course we said that shooting her front on, we're not going to get much shape. So a little bit of an angle is going to serve us very, very well. So what we're going to do, because she prefers that side of her face, we know that if we turn her body this way, good. And now point your toe towards me. That's it. Slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shift your butt away. Shoulders back, lean forward with your chest. Slightly turn this way. Good. Now turn your face that way. A bit more. And do you see straight away how much more finesse that has? And now we've just got that dress catching on the bottom of her feet. So just be careful of that. Gorgeous. Beautiful. And the veil still looks great. If she was plus size, and let's say there was a lot of gather here, or perhaps you just, we put the veil over, but it's so sheer that maybe it looks a little bit heavier in that area. What I would do something like this. I'd grab the veil and I would bring it over her arm. And because what's happening now, guys, is that this arm is being hidden by perspective. We can't see her arm. And this is just a glorified excuse to soften her arm, and it looks beautiful. Now, if we could see the other arm, or there was still an issue, of course, you just bring the flowers in the front, and life is good. But this is a really, really cool way of doing it. And if you wanted to get the groom involved in this shot, let's do that. So, Dylan, if you can come around this way. What I normally do is I'll either get the groom to shuffle his feet under the dress, or I'll bring the bottom part of that tulle and just get him right in, and then just give her a cute little cuddle from behind. Let that sort of drape nicely. And now turn your faces in together. Relax that shoulder. Good. Okay, slightly bend that knee. Give me that toe. Bend the knee a little bit. Beautiful. And I don't want this tulle to interrupt the moment, so I bring it back, and I want the skin touching if we can. That's gorgeous. And yep, there is a very, very beautiful shot. And I love the way that the actual material in the bottom, the tulle, is framing them. Of course, it's a bit more curved here. It's looking a bit flat here, so I'll pick this up and just let it drape down again like that. And again, if she wasn't plus size, and you wanted a little bit of that beautiful moment there as well, let me just bring that shawl out on this side. And then we can come back here again, just have a little bit of a loose piece of material there. So the finesse, keep on going there. Gorgeous, beautiful. Fantastic. And this could be a very beautiful full-length traditional shot and pose of the bride. Again, shift your weight back a little bit there, Lisa. You see again straight away that actually works a lot better. Fantastic. Okay, so now Dylan, take a break again. We're going to go back to Lisa. So whenever you have a dress that, like this dress could easily have a part in it, you can have a part in the dress. So straight away, Lisa knew what I was alluding to. It's giving us an idea of basically what to do with the hands and how to pose. So what I'd like you to do is point your toe again towards me, bend that knee, slide the heel back, push it that way, good. Now your hands, I want you to sort of part the Red Sea, so to speak, and then slightly bend your elbows. Gorgeous, that's it. Lean towards me, beautiful. Turn your chin to the outer shoulder there. And this hand, just like this, gorgeous. Nice and soft. And the key to posing really well, guys, and in fact, any artistic or creative endeavor is not to go too fast. You can sort of see how I'm quite slow and methodical, and of course I wouldn't be teaching on a real wedding day, but in this case, I'm slow, taking my time, and she looks good. Now, from this perspective, her right hand looks good. What's a problem here is her left hand, her fingers are pointing right back away from the camera, doesn't look as nice. So we keep her right hand there, and even though that's mirroring each other, I'm going to do this. Beautiful. And relax the hand a little bit. Good. Perfect. Remember what we said about the hands? We said when the hands are lower than the waist, it's going to look actually quite beautiful when the hands are up, and when they're above the waist, down. Now in this position, she's actually doing the exact opposite with both hands because it actually looks good. All I need to do is let the air out a little bit on that right hand. There you go. And then just stretch it out a little bit more. Beautiful. And then bend the elbow. Shoulders back, last little minute, arching the back. Gorgeous. She looks amazing. I love that. Now from now, of course, we haven't touched the veil yet because we were focusing on the other part. This is where this will go slightly over. If we want it to, and if we feel like it, we can do something like that. Remember, the dress will always tell you what to do. So there's a gorgeous traditional shot. And of course, we could add Dylan right in there. In fact, let's do that really quickly. So Dylan, just come on this side there for me. So now we haven't really done this kind of a shot where we're shooting slightly over his shoulder and traditionally full length. So just turn your body this way. Good. Now, bring your body a bit closer towards hers. Hashtag hump in a little bit. There we go. And now, okay, so now let go of the dress. Beautiful. And then bring that arm like that. Stunning. And now, just lean back a little bit. That's it. Perfect. And Dylan, lean towards her, mate. Yeah, love that. You see how he's automatically bending his knee. And this is really the first time that I've shot sort of Dylan fictitiously with the suit. Last time I shot you, mate, you had your top off most of the time. Lisa, embrace his leg with your leg, but make sure your toe touches the ground. Love that. Isn't that beautiful? That really works. And again, we're focusing more on the bride. We're shooting over the shoulder of the groom. But now we can do a traditional shot of both of them looking into the camera. So he's looking over his shoulder and her chin is up. And that's a really beautiful traditional shot as well. If we wanted to see the dress, then of course we grab the flowers. Remember what we said about the dress. We want to see the beautiful detail. So she's going to hold the flowers off her body. That hand's going to be in the pocket. If you just come a little bit more this way, Lisa, so that you can see more of you. Shift your butt there. That's it. Beautiful. Slightly bend the elbow. That veil's slightly over. Gorgeous. We want to expose the flowers there. We come back. Now, do you see how you're a bit like this, Lisa? Just sort of, you hump it a little bit there too. There we go. And bring your knee into his. Yeah, there you go. Now bring the flowers up a little bit higher there for me. Gorgeous. And then just nice and tall. Gorgeous. Beautiful. There's a traditional full-length portrait of the bride and the groom. Love that. That works out really well. All right, Dylan, take a break again. Grab her flowers if you want. That'd be awesome. Another shot that I like to do that is really cool, that the veil just gives you the perfect idea for, is this. Point the toe, bend the knee, all that stuff that we normally do, and I want you to grab the opposing veil. So this hold there and this hold there. Elbows out, gorgeous, shoulders back. Let's have a look at that portrait. Yeah, that's stunning. And I love the fact that we can sort of see her engagement ring. This also works well front on. So let's just turn your body towards me and a little bit this way. So if nothing else, guys, if you got her to stand flat-footed, so stand flat-footed, perfectly straight. So in this case, you find that that's quite regal. It works really well. It almost looks like she's holding her wrists almost in a majestic kind of a way. But I do feel like if we break the monotony of that by simply shifting her hip that way, that mirror, other way. Beautiful, that's gorgeous. Then chin up, turn the face this way, turn the face that way. And again, do you see how just her hip and her face breaks the monotony of her just facing me perfectly? So I love that. I love the fact that we can play like that. And remember that with the veil and the tulle, you can do so many things with it. So if she's got a big dress, the dress will give you an idea. So turn your whole body that way. Keep going and look back over your shoulder, back at me. Gorgeous. In fact, do it the other way because we can expose the favorite part of your face there. All right, so again, let's just fluff this out. Let's assume we did that perfectly. All right, holding that dress and then looking over your shoulder. Perfect. See, again, from this position, do you see how her left arm is contained in her body? Now, your right hand, Lisa, bring it up a little bit higher. Good, and a little bit more in. Stop. Even though the tulle is there, you can definitely see a gap between her arm and her body, which is basically going to give her a beautiful silhouette. That works really well. Okay, so now I want to show you a shot that a lot of people get wrong that I want to help you get right. Now, Lisa, I want you to pretend there are drapes in front of you, okay? So I think you're standing in your dress a little bit there. Just hop off the dress a little bit. There we go. Again, it's always easier when you get the bride to hold her own veil. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second there. All right, there's a bit of gather here. This is my dress, so not my dress personally, but I use it for teaching purposes, so I can do that. All right, let's grab this. And again, we're going to drape it nicely. Okay, so Lisa, I want you to pretend like you've got drapes in front of you. Put your hands up really high, and then just part the drapes. Stop. So, I often see this kind of a shot. Take a micro step to your left. Stop. Maybe a bit more to the right. Yep, there you go. So this just doesn't work. It looks like she's celebrating a triple back somersault in the gymnastics of the Olympics. Doesn't work. So what we need to do is to soften those straight arms and the hips. So what we're going to do is kick your hip to the right. Bring your hands closer towards you, like higher, 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 higher. Now turn your face to the left. And then chin up, and then bring your left hand a touch higher. And right hand a bit lower. Beautiful. So now we have a little bit more finesse. Drop that left shoulder a little bit. Beautiful. So what we're doing is we're actually getting the viewer of the photograph to view this photograph from top left to bottom right. Her left hand is higher, her right hand is a bit lower. She's shifting her weight to the right, and we're exposing the left hand side of her face, or her left face, on this side, so everything flows rather than it being static. Go back to where you were before. Flat-footed, straight, it just doesn't work. Okay, now I want you to turn, do me a 180-degree turn. So face me perfectly this way. Okay, beautiful. That's a good point. Did you see what she did with her veil? Often I'll get my brides to just play with the dress a little bit and have a little bit of fun, because this is just begging for it. What I want you to do, Lisa, is just give me that little bit of a foundation pose that we often do. Turn your hips this way. Now I'd like you to pick up the dress and I want you to sort of lift it up and then drop it. And then as you're doing it, I sort of want you to have a bit of a laugh and a giggle, looking at your man there a little bit, have a bit of fun with him. You sort of see how beautifully that floats, and it just makes her laugh. They just love that. So bring it up again, bring it up nice and high, keep on going, a bit of finesse with the body, and then just sort of drop it a little bit. Beautiful. And you see how that can work with filmmaking, with a slow-mo, that can just work with photography, but also this can work with the groom. So let's get the groom involved. I want you to hug her from behind, mate. This is where you want to actually give them a little bit of playtime or freestyle. Give them a little bit of room to breathe. So I'm going to do this so he's got somewhere to go with his face. Now you're going to look into her as she's giggling, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Give me that knee a little bit more, push the hip away. As we're doing it, okay, I want you to have a little bit of fun. So that's it, beautiful. So pick it up and just throw it away. Gorgeous, love that. Now do it again. You're going to throw it up. And then as you throw it, your right hand's going to drape on his face, okay? Ready? So ready, throw it, go for it. Beautiful, so there it is. Do it again. Do it again, do it again. Lots of giggles, lots of laughs, lots of fun. Beautiful, throw it in a little bit, gorgeous. Beautiful. I know, see, that's more of an organic way to do it, because I'll often see photographs with brides where there's a gush of wind on every single photograph. Like where an assistant has done this and just dropped it and run away. Oh, that's okay, but it's becoming a ridiculous cliche. Why not get the bride to do it? Then it looks a bit more real. It looks like they're having fun and having a good time, and it's just, it becomes a little bit more organic. I mean, yes, it's not organic per se because we constructed it, but we're giving a little bit of room to play. Think of it like we've got a recipe, but now they're adding their own spice to it. All right, fantastic. So now another thing we can do is you can actually hold your veil out and have a little bit of fun with it without being a little bit too traditional. Does that make sense? So you can just keep on holding it. So in this kind of a way, I find if you just make like sort of circular motions to it and have a little bit of fun, I'm going to get you to basically, yeah, like up and down, left and right, little bit, beautiful. And again, this is all about timing. This is all about timing. I would go click, click, click. It's almost like the extremes. Beautiful, love that. Okay, relax. So again, the dress will always give you an idea. All right, Dylan, you can take a break again. I love also the idea of getting the veil, although this is just one piece of veil. I love the idea of placing it directly over her. So pardon me for a second. This can be very beautiful, and I find it's one of the very rare occasions that I don't mind the bride being quite static and stationary, because it is one of those quiet moments that any kind of pose or, you know, if the figure is just too, I don't know, it's just too curvy or something, it sort of just breaks the moment. I feel like I just want a quiet moment. Let's get the flowers. And this is a very, very beautiful shot that you can do with the bride, maybe just before she's about to walk out of the house. Maybe it could be backlit as well, but she's holding the flowers. Remember with the veil, you try to want to at least get the creases off her eyes. And this is where you would just do this and give yourself every opportunity. So this is where your chin needs to come forward and down. Bring the shoulders back. That's it. And now chin down a little bit, chin forward and down, and then just your eyes down. Beautiful. Looks a little bit awkward from the front, but let me see if I can fix it. Yeah, so you're probably leaning a bit too forward. Now, just stand up a little bit straighter. See, this one I find actually works perfectly straight. Chin up a little bit. So you can go for a very sophisticated look, chin right up. Beautiful. Or you can just look off to the distance. Love that. Eyes over here where my hand is. Gorgeous. Or simply just looking at your flowers. Just contemplating that beautiful moment just before you're about to get married. I love this. I think this could work really well, obviously, with the father of the bride. It could work in many contexts. I find as soon as the veil is over, it's either extreme. For me, when a veil is over a bride, it's either a soft and serene moment, or we almost feel like the veil has blown on the bride and she's just giggling and laughing because of it. But go with the mood, go with the flow, and it would work really, really well. So guys, don't forget, remember, whenever you have a bride with a certain kind of dress, just don't run in to the house or the apartment, wherever you're going, and just start shooting straight away. I want you to slow down. I want you to look at her face, look at her hair. I want you to look at the back of the dress, look at her body type, her shape, work out what's going to flatter her, what's going to make the dress look beautiful, what angle, perspective. All these things are going to make a difference. Because don't forget that we can talk about posing all day. Remember, without emotion, a pose is just a pose. When you add a moment, as in you add emotion to a pose, now it becomes a moment, not just some static robotic pose that everyone does every week. So remember, just practice, experience, and repetition will always be your best teacher.